I'm at the Publix in Hoover, and I'm going to talk for a little bit about where everything was that I remember back from the 80s, and then I'm going to talk about some of my personal memories of this little area, because there's a lot. So my second job, I think I spoke to you guys about working at Bruno's over across the street there where the Hoover Tactical Fire place is. That, you know, they built that in the early 80s, and it was a huge deal. I don't know if I mentioned before, but that parking lot used to be packed every Saturday and Sunday. And but we didn't make very good tips over there. You could make a lot more tips over here at the Western. So there used to be a Western here that was here for decades, and it was kind of set up where the sackers, pretty much, if you had more than 3 or 4 bags, the sackers would carry out your groceries. We wore the customary white shirts and red bow ties, which I hated. But I had a lot of fun working at this Western back in the 84, 85. Next to it was a small travel agency, and then there was a place called In Cahoots, a restaurant on the corner that was there for a long time, and then it became a Irish pub called McAnally's. And right around the corner from it was Green Valley Barber and Hoover Florist. I remember those 2 stores being there. And then out in front here, where Starbucks is now, straight away, used to be a Swenson's, a great ice cream parlor. It was that for a number of years. And it was a German restaurant. I can never remember the name of that German restaurant. It seemed like it lasted about a year. But that was a different building. And then that same spot became a pizza place later on, and it burned down just a few years ago. But and then down there on the corner, I remember Long's Electronics was down there, and you know, they had we spent a lot of time in there as a teenager because they had a huge display for stereo equipment, equalizers, and car stereo speakers and car stereos, and you would go in there and dream about, you know, what you wanted to add to your system in your car. Those were big important things when you're 16, 17 in the 80s. But I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about some of my personal memories of working here when it was a Western back in the pre-security camera era. I worked here with a lot of friends. We had a really good time, a lot of fun. You know, I happened to be recording this on the day of the Iron Bowl, and one of the things I remember is on Saturdays they would put either the Alabama game or the Auburn broadcast on over the intercom system. They did that at a lot of, not just grocery stores, but department stores as well. You don't see that anymore. And we got into a lot of shenanigans. You know, of course, you know, the beer out the back kind of deal. But I remember one time this particular place had a loading dock in the back, and the way it was set up, it had like a pedestrian concrete ramp, and it would create a little area when it would pour rain. It would create a little area where there would be about a 3 or 4 foot little well of water, and the drainage from the roof would just keep that water churning and churning. And a couple of buddies of mine and we got some industrial size Tide detergent and dumped it in there, and basically got the whole loading dock area was just flooded with bubbles, and it's kind of fun. Spent a lot of time out in this parking lot drinking beer, hanging out with my friends. It was a small grocery store. You know, we used to front the store on Friday nights, and a lot of the guys had girlfriends, and the manager would let us, as soon as we were done fronting the store, we were able to go. And of course, that was the ultimate goal on a Friday night. You wanted to get the hell out of work. So the girlfriends would come in. We basically doubled our workforce with free labor, and everybody would be fronting the store on Friday nights, trying to get out so we could drink our free beer in the parking lot. A lot of fun times at the Hoover Western. Guys, I really appreciate all the positive response from these videos. I've enjoyed the conversation that it's kind of spurred, and it's just a fun little hobby. I've always been kind of wired to where I like to look back and remember things, or what used to be here and what used to be there. And so I've really enjoyed the conversation. I've really enjoyed people filling in the gaps and making corrections when I make mistakes. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you do, like a video, share a video, or subscribe. It's really appreciated. like I said, it's just a hobby, but I like looking at those metrics, and it makes me feel good to know that somebody's enjoying these. So have a great day. Cheers.